Jim, you don't know what you're missing, honey.
No,
Season
it's so
two
good.
is so, it gets so good. It
The
gets so good in
espionage
season
angle of
two.
it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's so thrilling. Literally, you
yeah.
watch the show and it's like you don't know what's gonna happen scene to scene, which is
You don't
always
know what's
keeps
gonna
you
happen. Yeah,
literally on the edge, which is
yeah,
great because I
yeah.
like to preserve shows, not binge watch them
Right.
in
Oh,
one
good for
take.
you. Good
Yeah,
for you.
I like to digest them, take some time, like take a few days between episodes, like appreciate an
Right,
episode. So I'm
right.
getting through that.
Yeah.
But fine, if you share a spoiler, it's okay. I'll get to it eventually. How are you?
Love it. I'm so good. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing all right. I'm in
Oh,
Chicago. The sun came out finally, so it's
um,
you take that when you can.
you take that. I'm in LA, and as you see, it came
Always
again.
sunny.
Now I'm getting all a little hot in this sweater.
It's
Yeah, it
always
is.
sunny in
Yeah.
LA, so it's the same old for you, which is great. I mean, I
It
take it
is
any.
great.
How
Yeah.
are things in life in general going for you? I mean, are you enjoying the summer? Any vacation plans or anything like that coming up for you?
No vacation plans. There's more work though, which is I'm so grateful.
Great.
I was just at the desert this weekend, so that was wonderful. At in Joshua Tree,
Oh, how
Yucca
did that
Valley.
go?
It's special, wonderful. I went with a girlfriend. It was lovely.
So
I
just
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 love
for
being
fun,
there.
right? No filming or anything like that.
No, no, just for fun, just to go and we don't even take pictures. We're very old. You know how usually people go everywhere they go, they're posting pictures of themselves
You're doing
having
it the right
fun.
way. You're
I'm doing
enjoying
it
and
right.
taking into experience. That's what it's
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Living in the moment.
I think I took one picture of her when she wasn't paying attention to remember when we get old. That remember this day we were here, but it was that.
I mean, old. What are you like 25? Come on, that's years
Oh
away.
my goodness, Jim, how did you know?
You know, I can tell. I'm good with that. Well, that's great. I mean, I hear a lot about Joshua Tree. Like, it becomes such a, especially people living in LA, it becomes like such a destination to go for the weekend. And from just like never being there, you just see it's like, oh, it's kind of desert, but I'm guessing there's a lot to do there, right?
There's a lot to do. There's a lot of music. There's a lot of arts, but the desert environment. There's something so special about the fact that it's such a fragile ecosystem. Like you see a tree and a tree that's about this high, and it's taken it 1,000 years to get that high. It just
Wow.
makes you have new respect for nature, and it makes me want to tread very lightly and just be in awe. It's like another
Uh-huh.
facet of nature that's just beautiful. And
Are-
we saw a beautiful coral rattlesnake that was just beautiful. And I have a feeling it was a female, and she was, did this to make us stay away. And I said, okay, we'll
Yeah.
go a different path. Okay.
Wow. So did you
It
just
was
come
just,
up on you randomly? You get like a
mm-hmm,
snake up.
mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, but she was gorgeous. And it's usually the baby snakes that are dangerous because they get dangerous when they're adults, that they're just communicating with you to not
Interesting.
tread.
I did not know. I got my snake lesson for today.
Mhm.
So, do you enjoy nature in general when you have time off from filming? What do you sort of things you like to do? Seems like you kind of appreciate the simple things in life, which is great.
I do. I do. I have a garden. I garden. I have a chicken. She's 13 years old.
No
And
way.
fun fact, when during the pandemic, she was about 10 years old when the pandemic happened. Remember, there were a couple months where everything was shut down. There
Yeah.
weren't any planes going overhead. She started laying eggs again at the age of 10, which is unheard of for chickens. But
Wow.
to me, that was a sign that nature, if you give it the chance, nature heals itself. But we need to give it a chance by stopping driving and flying all over the
Oh
place.
yeah,
Just let
and
it
look how
breathe.
good the air got. Even in LA, you could breathe a
Remember?
little bit.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it was
It
special.
was noticeable too, like really
Mhm.
quickly how things environment kind of changed and things became very different. That was
Right.
I guess if you take one positive out of the situation is that yeah, nature kind of did rise up pretty quickly too when
Mhm.
things slowed down in that way. What do you
Mhm.
grow in your garden? I'm curious.
Kale, I have broccoli, I have tomatoes, I have my favorite is Swiss chard. I have two different colors Swiss chard, and Swiss chard is such a delicious vegetable, and you could chop it up and put it in pastas, and so people who don't like to eat vegetables, it's the best thing to chop because it's so tasty.
Have you been growing for a while? It seems like you got some
Yeah, for a while. Yeah.
exquisite things growing, not just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
plants,
Yeah.
flowers or anything. You got some
Right.
real legitimate things you can put on the food on a table to eat. That's great.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. No, we eat out of the garden every day. I actually just had lunch today, and I had Swiss chard and I had some kale that I
There's
added to some
nothing
of the.
like growing your own thing and knowing where it came from and the taste of it. There's no one that can replicate something that's like
Yeah.
homegrown or farm grown
Yeah.
versus like not, there's
Yeah.
just totally different taste to whatever fruit or
Absolutely.
vegetable.
Absolutely. Yeah. People, we need to start getting in touch with that again,
Yeah.
because it's not good for the earth. It really isn't to just give it all up to some company that is doing all the agriculture for you, and they're, you know, just it's I like do it yourself if you can,
It's interesting.
if
I
you have the
mean,
space.
you're a worldly woman. You leave the country and you see like different fruits and stuff, and you see like, oh,
Mm,
apples are a different size. Oh, they're not perfect. Like here, like apples are like
right?
watermelons. Like they're
I
not
know.
supposed to be naturally like looking perfect and things.
Looking
Fruits and
perfect and
vegetables.
so huge and
Yeah.
tasteless. Have you noticed they're tasteless? You go away and or you pick an
Uh-huh.
apple from your own tree and it's like, wow, that's what an apple's supposed to taste like.
Exactly. So you understand that,
Yeah.
which is good. I like that mentality of kind of bringing up the roots and nature of our essence, and kind of
Mhm.
enjoying what was originally put on earth really to form.
I agree. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
also seems to me that like you on Tehran is like a match made in heaven. Not only you being someone from that part of the world,
Mhm.
but just it seems like that would be fitting. Like there's something that probably can't be replicated by an actor who doesn't understand the culture, hasn't been part of it too. Do you feel like that's kind of a dream job for you that you got, like it was almost meant to be in a sense being on this show? Because I mean, I think the cast is really great. I'm getting through season one, by the way, so I'm
Oh,
behind still.
really?
Yes,
Oh, I can't. Jim, you don't know what you're missing, honey.
no,
Season
it's so
two
good.
is so, it gets so good. It
The
gets so good in
espionage
season
angle of
two.
it, I mean,
Yeah.
it's so thrilling. Literally, you
Yeah.
watch the show and it's like you don't know what's gonna happen scene to scene, which is
You don't
always
know what's
keeps
going
you
to happen. Yeah.
literally on the edge, which is
Yeah.
great because I
Yeah.
like to preserve shows, not binge watch them
Right.
in
Oh,
one
good for
take.
you. Good
Yeah,
for you.
I like to digest them, take some time, like take a few days between episodes, like appreciate an
Right.
episode. So I'm
Right.
getting through that.
Yeah.
But fine, if you share a spoiler, it's okay. I'll get to it eventually. But what
No,
has that
it's
experience been like for you working on this show? Like, I imagine, like I mentioned, it would feel kind of almost surreal in a sense to be part of not only a great show like that, but
mhm,
something that you can relate to in a sense.
it's incredible. Some days I have to pinch myself.
Mhm.
Incredible. And the fact is I was born in Tehran, and I we came to the US when the revolution happened, so I haven't been back. So that said, the character Nahid Kamali that I'm playing is not a character that I know. I've never seen a woman like this. A woman who's married to someone who, like a general of the Sepah, which is the new military of Tehran. After, because when I lived in Tehran, it was during the Shah's time, and it was a beautiful time in Iran. Unfortunately, it wasn't perfect, and people had to mess it up, in my opinion. But it's wonderful to be doing a part and being able to speak Farsi. And in
Yeah.
season one, I spoke a little bit of French. So such a dream job that I get to express all the languages that I know. Um, and oh, the cast is amazing. The Iranian actors that are all in exile like me are so lovely. They're so funny and smart and talented, and we had a lot of fun. Glenn Close, are you kidding me?
I
Oh,
know. That's a heavy hitter right there, right?
yeah, yeah. Oh, I can't wait for you to see Jim season two. Put
I'm
on your
excited.
seatbelt.
I just love the fact too, because sometimes when you watch a show and they go on a hiatus or they're filming, it's like, oh, you need to wait like 6 months or 7 months or whatever
Yeah,
longer.
right.
Like this, I'll be ready to jump into it.
That's
So
right.
I'm
That's
I'm
right.
I'm finishing up season one already. So
Great.
I'm about to get it going. So that's exciting
Great.
part for me in
Yeah.
that way too. You know, like you mentioned, a lot of Iranian actors too part of it. Like Do you guys have maybe like offset conversations about the upbringings and the families that you might have? Like, I'd imagine that'd be like a bonding experience to have that you probably wouldn't be able to share with on other sets in a way too. I was curious, like, did these actors kind of get together and maybe reminisce, or like these gatherings? Like, it would be kind of fun and cool, if that were to happen.
Yeah, it was definitely a very global film set, because even the Iranians, they weren't like, what we all had in common was that we also do speak another language, but some of
Mhm.
them were from the UK and they were born in the UK. It just
Right.
happened to be that their parents are Iranian, so they learned, learned the language and kept it. Some were in from Brussels. They were sort of from all over, but one thing we Iranians have in common is we are funny. So we laughed so much. I mean, so many jokes and wonderful, silly moments.
Which is great. I mean,
Yeah,
right? That's the
yeah,
best part of it. If you can find shared humor, it's the
right.
joy of life. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the best thing we overlook most of the time, worrying about things or focusing on a negative,
right.
not taking into experience and just the joys of life too that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what I really I attest, the joys of life and jokes and laughing that made me survive. You know,
Mhm. That's a
just
good outlook to have. It really
right.
is. If you have that hope and kind of the take the good also, because there's always going to be something bad you can find, right? Or pluck away.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
but that kind of keeps you going and not stopping you in life and putting you in a bad place in a sense too. That
Hmm.
mentality is really good to have, to just
Hmm.
find the positive, and the
Hmm.
right, the pure joy. I was gonna ask you too, your on-screen husband, Shaun, you've been multiple like projects with him. Is this like you
Right.
guys have a 2-for-1 package deal contract, or is this coincidence always? I mean, I think it
Right.
was Charlie Wilson's War and then Little America. And
Yeah.
now obviously on the show, it's crazy how that's also a unique aspect, how you guys are bonded in multiple ways in this
Totally,
industry.
totally. Yeah. And when we were in, and and how crazy is it that two of the shows that we played, Man and Wife, were both Apple TV originals, and
Right.
Little
That's
America.
yep.
And then in Little America, his name was Faraz. I'm Iranian. I'd never heard the name Faraz before, and then he plays a character named Faraz in Tehran as well. But yeah, no, we definitely he's a great guy, and what an amazing actor. I was watching him the last day of shooting, and I was done, and I'm just sitting in Video Village and watching him, do his thing, and I'm just amazed. Like, I don't know what voodoo magic he does. I have to work like thousands of hours to do what he does with just a look. So I'm
It's
jealous.
unbelievable, but it's for some people, it just comes naturally.
Right. Yeah.
The cameras turn on, but you're still,
Yeah.
that human person. I think it's always the best for me when actors are kind of a part of themselves in every role.
Right.
Obviously play the role, but also you can see that human, you can see
Yeah.
that person, you recognize them, that
Yeah.
it's them behind that. That's
Yeah.
always kind of that natural connection you make.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that is that special magic about acting for the camera and film. It's magic.
What's been your approach to acting in a sense? Like, is this something you always wanted to do, or it kind of came about? Like, how you have an extensive background in theater, which is, I always feel like theater actors, that's the harder thing to do than do it on camera, because you got to do it live and rehearse and all these sorts of things. But has this always been all your life a passion of yours that you wanted to explore?
Ever since I was 15, I went to Van Nuys High School, which is a
Mhm.
public, it's called a Performing Arts Magnet High School. And when I was 15, I went to go see a play. I think it was Bye Bye Birdie, and I looked on stage and I saw the most incredible actors I'd ever seen, and they were seniors, so they were adults. They were amazing,
Yes.
and that's when I wanted to be an actor. I wanted so much to act, and I kept auditioning for plays at Van Nuys High School, and wouldn't make it because I just wasn't good. And so I'd work as the prop mistress or the stage manager behind the scenes until I started getting roles on stage. And by my senior year, might I add, I played Elizabeth Proctor in The Crucible. Thank you very much.
Wow.
And
I
I
mean,
was Rich
look at that
McGouch
rise.
at the Daily News. So yeah, so it was quite a rise. But that said, um, I had never seen any representations of myself on film and TV then. So I didn't think film and TV, I mean, it was a pipe dream, beyond pipe dream. So I went to school to go to medical school and got a degree in biological anthropology, and to make my dad happy. And when I graduated, my dad had passed away the same year, and an Iranian theater company hired me to do plays in Persian. So then that's when I started. For about 20 years, I've been doing plays in the Persian language and touring the globe for other Iranians in diaspora, in exile, like myself. I would do plays for them in their mother tongue. And I love theater so much, but I'm so grateful that I've transitioned into film. And what I will say is, film acting, it humbles me. It's not easy at all. I know people think that theater is easier than, it's a totally different thing than film. Theater,
It is.
I
It's a
think it
different
was,
medium.
it's a different medium. It's a different style of acting. They're both not easy, but film is like a whole, it's humbling for me,
The
even after
camera
all these years
catches
of doing,
everything, right?
catches
All the little
everything.
moments and everything. It
Yeah,
will.
and there's a whole uh, communication with the camera that I'm still trying to learn. It's
Well, I
different.
mean, I think you're doing pretty well in that
Thank you.
portion of it.
Thank
Judging
you.
where you're at and seeing you on screen, it's kind of interesting too that you got that science degree in a sense,
Mhm.
in bio. How has that served you? Because you sometimes go to college, you get a degree, and you never use it. How do you feel like doing that? Was that more so to kind of to show your family that you could get a degree and have a backup
Yeah,
job if needed, sort of thing, more stable than acting, or has it actually served you in life?
it served me a lot in life.
Hmm.
That I mean, not only can I talk your head off about human evolution, so don't get me started, but what it's done is it served me by giving me a framework of, and allowing me to love people more,
Hmm.
because I love animals, and to understand that, we're not as far as we thought we are, that we are so similar, that human beings are so similar to non-human primates. We have so much to learn from these evolutionary possible cousins, but we have so much to learn. And it doesn't matter if you are related, even though chimpanzees are 98% identical in gene to you and
Yeah.
me. Um, it doesn't matter. We have so much to learn. And it gave me a different way of looking at people.
Interesting. That's a
It
really
made me
big
more
takeaway.
loving. Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't think that in depth about it too. Sometimes like I just walked by a pond and I saw these ducks and they were like making noises to each other and they're like communicating, and I was
Hmm.
wondering like, I wonder how they're communicating. They must understand each other. They're all kind of
Totally.
walking together and do it like there's a language, there is a being there. We think
Hmm.
kind of that we're above being humans, because
Totally.
we're able to do anything, but the intricacies of animals and other species, just amazing how they do things that we kind of take for granted or don't think about how
Yeah.
evolved they are too.
Yeah, and it's not very smart to be so species centric and to think that
Hmm.
we've cornered the market on everything. We haven't. We have so much to learn, and we have to be stewards of this land because we are so smart, and we have these brains that are just incredible. These huge brains packed into a tiny skull.
That's
So
well
that's why
said.
we have all these folds.
I'm glad you studied that. That outlook is a message that should be spread, I think, more
Mhm,
prominently out there, to have that kind of an outlook that the universe is huge and there's more than us,
mhm,
even though we like to
mhm.
be the central character
Right,
of it, but
right,
there's so much more to be
right.
discovered and understood. And that's a never ending thing. There's always an
Mhm,
education about that more's to be learned, more's to be
mhm,
discovered. That's what makes it
mhm,
kind of interesting being
mhm,
in this planet.
mhm.
You know,
Oh yeah,
I was gonna ask you about the lead star of the show, Niv.
yeah. Oh,
Tell me how good she is, because that to me is a phenomenal actress, and that it's really holding down this show and just doing so much on it too. But what is it like watching her work and just interacting with? I'm kind of curious, getting that inside look from you,
So,
someone that
so
sees it.
here's the thing. Because even in season, oh, I shouldn't, I don't want to give away too much, but I can tell you that in season
Give a
2,
little tidbit.
I don't
Yeah,
have
there's others
scenes
that
with
are
her.
watching it right now, so I'm not gonna.
Right. So because I don't have scenes with her, I haven't been spying on her to watch her work, right? But I can tell you as a person, she is just delicious. She's just such a beautiful, kind, sweet, gentle, amazing human being that it's fun to be around her.
That's
It's
a
really
great
fun to be
compliment.
around her. Yeah. And I love that this season 2 is so, women are in the front and center even more than they were in season 1. So
Mhm.
you'll see when you see season 2, the Mossad is the head of the Mossad is a woman.
Interesting.
This woman Yulia, and so to have Neve and to have the head of Mossad be a female, and to have Glenn Close play such a, oh, I can't wait for you to see season 2, Jim.
I love how this show's
And then my
evolving just by you
character, yeah,
mentioning it. You know, the
right.
evolution, that's what a really smart show is. It shows that not only the show kind of storylines evolve, but like the characters evolve on a grand landscape of it too. You know, that's such a cool thing, that it's literally naturally evolving. And the show is at the same time too, but everything in it, the essence of it.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. You see, oh, I'm
I'm
so
excited for
I'm
you to
happy
watch
for you
season
that you're
2.
on this show. I really am.
Thank you.
Especially, and you know, I do you feel like there's still more of the story for more seasons to go? Because I hope it just doesn't wrap after season 2 or whatnot.
No, it just can't. There's so much more. I feel like there's so much more places that it could go. So hopefully there's going to be a season 3.
Oh yes.
Hopefully.
I'm hoping too. I mean, I'm gonna get to the next one, but I want you to work too. I want you to continue on it, you know. So I figured you'd appreciate this. So I have this book of like information, silly, useless information, but they're real life facts. I figured you would appreciate real life unknown facts, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I've done this in my previous interviews. Always we have a good time. I'm gonna have you pick a random page. There's 183 pages, and we're gonna go over whatever's on that page and learn some random facts.
First I wanted to say 17, then I thought 81. So we'll go with 17.
Let's do both. It's just a few each. Okay, 17 first. So these are okay. There you go. Oh, this is some interesting facts here. The oldest word in the English language is town. Town. Yeah. It's the oldest word in the English language. Huh.
Town.
Who would have known, right? I've never heard that.
But who decides that? Who decided that that's the oldest word?
I guess the research. I'm guessing.
I would think daughter is the oldest word, because in Persian, and Persian's an Indo-European language, the way you say daughter, you say doktar, the way that it's, you know how dok, D-A-U-G-H-T-E-R. I don't know if town.
Huh.
I mean, maybe the English language created town like a city, but I don't know if it's the oldest word.
Yeah, in the English language. Huh, interesting.
I'd like to, but you know, but studying science, like whenever people say, oh, scientists say, I'm like, who says? Let me see the research.
You're right.
Let's read it and then I'll decide.
Exactly. Okay, here's another kind of language thing.
However, I mean, it might be the oldest word. I don't want to say that it's not, but I'd like to look more into that.
I would like to look into that too, because there's a lot of contenders here that could be also, you know, and how was this formulated too?
Yeah.
So
it's on 17.
I am is the shortest complete sentence in the English language. I am.
That got very spiritual all of a sudden, didn't it? I am.
Okay, there you go. We say that a lot, you know. So
right.
That's a commonly used sentence, I guess. In
right.
This is an interesting one. There are 450 hairs in an average eyebrow.
450.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot, right? I mean, you'd imagine they're plucking them all out. 400 on each. On average.
450 plucks. Yeah. Okay.
Wow. That's fascinating. Well, now it's a whole different perspective when you get your eyebrows done, right? Like,
Right? Yes.
yeah, it's like there's a lot to work with there, you know.
Although I'm Persian, we thread. I haven't had my eyebrows done in a long time, but they thread. Have you heard of
Threading,
that threading they do? That's
I've had them threaded too, like
have
before versus
you?
waxing. Yeah, I like to keep them in
Wow.
order and nice, you know.
They're
But
very nice eyebrows. Very
well,
nice
thanks.
eyebrows, Jim.
It gets bushier for guys, I feel
Right.
like.
I know
You
it
know what I
does.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So maintain it once in a while.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Oh, Diet Coke was invented in 1982. I feel that's probably true. Although I
Diet
felt like it
Coke.
was like in a 90s thing, not a 1982 Diet Coke.
Hmm.
Huh. Interesting, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
the faces,
1982.
yeah, 1982. Interesting year, too. The faces on Mount Rushmore are 60 feet tall. I could see that. I
60.
mean, it's pretty tall up and they're pretty high up there, but
Yeah, I'm not good with numbers. 60 feet sounds high,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
they
it would
look
be pretty high.
tall. So
Yeah.
that,
But it's not that tall, too. It's not that high, you know what I
right.
mean? To be like your skyscraper like. So that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Right.
All right. So we're done with that page. And the other page was 82.
81.
Oh, 81. Okay. Well, there we go.
Oh, I thought you read both pages. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, this is more about animals, which is great. You know, fitting on the topic. Flamingos can only eat with their heads upside down. Wow.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
It's
because
interesting.
so that's why they do that. Ah,
Wow, that's fascinating. That's the only way they can eat.
right. Yeah, I could see how their beak scoops up. Yeah.
Huh. The ostrich's eye is bigger than its brain. Wow.
No, really.
Yeah, they do have pretty big eyes, ostriches.
They do have pretty big eyes.
But wow, bigger than their brain.
Bigger than the brain.
Huh. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Hummingbird is the only bird that can fly backwards. I had no idea.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Wow.
Oh, I love hummingbirds so much.
That is so interesting. They can fly back. I've never seen it. I'd love to see
backwards.
that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I saw a video of a bee pushing a hummingbird backwards in flight.
Really?
The bee was like getting rid of it because they're fighting for the same flowers, I guess.
Oh, wow. That would make sense. But
amazing,
wow,
yeah.
I'd imagine a bee also trying to put up a fight with a bird too, right?
I know
That's
you
so
think,
smart.
and the bee was bullying.
Huh. Oh, here's a good one. For you, the actor, sitcom characters rarely say goodbye when they hang up the phone. I've
noticed that. I
Yeah.
notice that all the time, not just sitcom, always. And it drives me crazy because nobody just hangs up without saying goodbye.
Right. It's so
So
like,
for me, that's just bad writing. It's just like, oh, fake writing.
oh, wow.
Because
I
I
had no
never,
idea.
have you ever, do you ever, when you're not angry, hang up without saying
No,
goodbye?
it was
Never.
weird.
It's not human. The other thing about actors that drives me crazy is those car scenes
Yep.
where they're driving,
Holding the steering wheel. No one does that.
and then no, they're driving and then they're talking and just looking at the person and they're driving. It's like, I try that. You can't. Well,
It's
you drive
dangerous,
like
first of all.
it's dangerous. You never do that in real life.
Yeah, you would never do it. I mean, it's having full-fledged that's something I did notice. Having full-fledged conversations, just staring away. Like,
Right,
yeah, you're
yeah,
not driving really.
right,
Or you're like in the middle of nowhere. Even then, still you want, even if you're like in a mountainous range or something, like you still want to
Totally.
look ahead.
You want to look to see what's coming in front of your car. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fake.
And then, oh, okay. And then the final one is Halley's Comet will next appear in 2061.
Oh, we won't be around.
We won't be around for that. So
Isn't
wow.
that sad? Isn't that sad?
I know it is sad how like the intervals of the length of like, wow, you're not going to see it in your lifetime, you know, and maybe a few lifetimes.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, those are some life facts. I feel like
you.
I learned a few things today too.
I did too.
World's fascinating, right, Sheila? The way you think about it, I mean, there's so many little fascinating things, and I know you appreciate that, which makes it even better.
I do. Thank you.
I had so much fun talking to you.
I had so much fun.
This is great, you know, getting to connect. I enjoy you on the show, and it's cool to see that, you know, sometimes the person matches sometimes the expectation. You're even better than, you know, what you hope for. So that's always a great impression.
Oh, thanks so much, Jim. That really means a lot to me. And I can't wait for you to see season 2.
Uh,
Put on your seatbelt. It's gonna be a joy ride. Well,
I
I
will
don't know,
let you
joy.
know. I
It'll
will
be
reach out to you and let you know, when I get there, and how exciting all these things you're already making it to be.
great. Well,
Well,
I can't wait. Have a wonderful day.
you too.
Evening for you now in Chicago.
Well, it's more
Not bad.
4 o'clock here, but it's still some time left. I can catch up on the show, maybe. You know what I mean?
Do.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to connect again down the road.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thanks.
Bye, Sheila.